And a very, very good evening, everybody. Thank you very much for being with us tonight. It's our final episode of the season. Quite sad that it actually come to an end, but after this, we'll be taking a break and getting up for next season. I'm super excited that Manchester United is part of the final tonight. So we do have a lot of things to discuss. We'll be discussing the roundup, Europa final, and there's a lot of topics. We jump from one thing to the other. So be with us. Put your comments in the comment section. Like the pod, subscribe to the pod, and definitely share the pod. So thank you very much once again for being with us. And let me get to the guys. Let me get to the panel. Firstly, Lutando, how are you doing, my friend?
Well, yourself, sir.
Good, good. Is that just you being, calm before the storm? Or are you excited about the match?
Let me go. Champions!
Lekker. Thank you very much for being with us, my guy. Next up, Fabian. How you doing, brother?
Yo, I don't know. I can't even sit still. I don't know if it's because of the last show or it's because of the final tonight.
It's a bit of both. You ready, my man?
Yeah, nah, all good. Excited, amped up.
Let's hope that that's not the only cup you'll be lifting tonight, my man.
Yo, arm is already sore of this.
Ollie, Coach Ollie, how you doing, my guy?
Yeah. Yes, guys. I'm good. Yo, I don't know if I'm excited or nervous, but it's a bit of both. We maken al vroeg en als je al.
It's a bit of both, my man.
Yeah.
Lovely. And to the lovely female who made a debut last week, she had some hot topics, so we brought it back again today. Jessie, how you doing?
Cheers, guys. I'm ready. I'm totally ready. Super ready.
Nice.
Bit of nerves, but now I'm ready.
Okay, cool. And then the last guest for the night, making his first appearance, Mickey, all the way from Goodwood. How you doing, my guy?
Good.
We are live. We're good. Thanks for having me, guys. Thanks for having me. And Les, I apologize. Good to be here. I'm excited. I'm hoping to see a good game. That's all I want.
To tell the supporters out there, who's the team that you are supporting and who are you supporting tonight?
So my team, of course, I'm a proper Red, not a Red Devil. I'm just going to say that.
Lincoln is saying here, you look like Lincoln there.
Nice.
Liverpool fan, born and bred. Obviously, through my pops and my family and those things, being inducted into watching a certain style of footy. So obviously just used to watching the Liverpool way. Had the blessed honor of going to watch Liverpool at Anfield, which was pretty dope. So yeah, that was like 2013, 2014. But tonight, I am not supporting anyone. I just want to see United attack. I want them to attack and not counter-attack. That's what I want.
Nice. Okay, cool. Thank you very much for being with us tonight, my man. So yeah, we'll get into it. We don't have a lot of time because, most of us in this pod has to get ready for something else. So I'll try to end it short, but we'll get through a lot of things tonight. But first, what I want to do is, no load shedding, my man. I spoke to the founders.
The founders.
When you have status, you can extend it by another day.
Well said, sir. Well said.
So look, we're going to get into the Premier League roundup. There was a lot of ups and downs this season, a lot of dodgy calls, and of course it was the VAR and things like that. But I'm pretty sure we all have a lot to say. But the way we're going to do it, we're going to be speaking, of course, about the most important teams. How do you guys feel about the Premier League, though? Mickey, let me bring you in. Talk to me about Liverpool. How are you? Are you impressed, or is it a disappointing season for you guys?
It's a disappointing season, to be quite honest. We went into the season with hopes of retaining it. Obviously, we all know the media has been going on about Virgil, about Gomez, about Matip. So to end third is very, very impressive. I mean, the run of games was 26 points out of a possible 30. So, I mean, we were 8th in March. So to end third on the last day of the season I'll take that, you know. But if you look at it, I think Klopp only figured out round about March side that by playing our midfielders at centre back, there was nobody pressing, and Liverpool's game is high press. So there's no ball winners in the middle of the park, especially if you have a player like Fabinho playing at centre back. And Henderson out for 3 months because Henderson just runs. He doesn't do much, but the running is all he does. That's the major factor. So I think Klopp only realized, and that's why it took Thiago time to adapt. Because obviously there's a lot of talk about him struggling to fit in. Nobody's going to be Bruno, guys. That's a once-off where player comes into a squad that's ready for him. You know, Thiago, it takes time to adapt to the Premier League, out with COVID, a lot of things. But I mean, I think Klopp saw by rather playing the youngsters and still keeping that attacking game, Liverpool can still win. So
For sure.
at the end of the day, I'll take that third place. It's amazing. I'm not gonna lie. I'm happy to end up here.
Look, like you mentioned something. Of course, he took some time this season to realize or to figure out how he's going to be playing his players. You know, considering the fact that both your centre backs was out. Do you think that first half of the season, look, Van Dijk played up till 6-7 games before he got injured, and then was that Klopp panicking, or was it just basically him trying to figure out what's best for Liverpool? Because during that time, you guys were dropping points. You know, you were the old United. So was that more Klopp panicking or what?
So initially, when Virgil got injured, he got injured in October. Played like the first 5-6 games. Liverpool went on an unbeaten run. We won 18 games in a row after Virgil got injured. So there was still one senior centre back in Gomez, and then Matip, is injury prone. But yeah, so by Fabinho playing in there, we thought we had it covered. But with Gomez getting injured, that's when Klopp panicked. Instead of bringing the youngsters through, decided to drop Henderson and Fabinho into centre back. And if your game is pressing, and those two are your pressers, how do you expect to score goals? So we became more of a team that counter-attacks instead of a team that attacks.
Yeah.
You know? So it's that January phase, which has been Liverpool's problem for years. After the December period, you play, I think, like 10 games in December and like 7 in Jan. So those games is where we panicked. We lost 6 home games in a row. Like, that never happens. Because Anfield, and I think the biggest thing about the season for Liverpool fans, or for Liverpool as a club, was the fact that there were no fans. When your back is against the wall, the Liverpool fans bring them out of it. They sing, they make noise, they rile up the fans. Hey,
The 12th player.
Yeah.
So I think the fans had a giant impact on the team, because on a European night, if you make an example of the 3-1 first leg defeat to Real, on any European night, we could have overturned it, but there was no fans, there was no crowd, there was no vibe, and that's Liverpool's 12th man. That's our version of art.
Mickey, I think for Liverpool, there's 3 things, and that was number 1, there was no plan B. Okay.
Agreed.
Number 2, you had no fans, and also number 3, which is very extremely vital, which helped you guys win the title, which was VAR. It wasn't on your side.
I thought you were gonna.
So I think it was. Yeah, I think this season was more United's VAR. We paid a bit more money to VAR this season.
Well, look here. At the end of the day, right, the way I measure it up is because that is, look here, VAR, to a certain extent, none of us liked it, right? So whether VAR, because there's been times where VAR has helped you, and then 2 minutes later, it's robbed you. It is the most inconsistent thing brought into the game. We can talk about VAR for hours, but for me, the thing that gives me a good feeling about the season is Man United took a step forward and Liverpool took a step down, and we were only 5 points gap. So to me, no, I'm not, and it's not any disrespect. It's just saying that we had a tough season. So to be 5 points off a team who were challenging for the title up until March, I don't mind.
Yeah.
But don't you think, Mickey, that is actually, that we, well, you also know that, but Manchester United, they're still in that transition 10-year phase, But for to be happy, and it's not just you, or you're not saying it, but there's a lot of people that's now coming out, ending third and 5 points behind United. Is United now the benchmark that makes you guys happy? Or is it just that, of course, the rivalry behind Manchester United and Liverpool, that 5 points behind them is okay?
So it's a bit of both. So firstly, you have to see the fact that Fergie came to United because he wanted to be better than Liverpool. He said that in his book. We know this. So United beat Liverpool's record and then fell off. So I think personally, like anybody sitting on top, until somebody puts pressure, only then do you start performing. So I feel like United needed Liverpool to start winning again so that their heads can get screwed and be like, we need to start winning now. That's the first thing. But I think the major thing, I think the reason why a lot of Liverpool fans are happy about the 5 point gap is because of Gary Neville. Let's be real about it. Gary Neville kept saying the entire season, having Virgil out and having Gomez out isn't an excuse for a team as big as Liverpool. But then Harry Maguire was missing from the Liverpool United game, and it's like, oh, we missed our main centre back.
Yeah.
So I feel like the banter that Liverpool fans have taken from United fans about, oh, but you can't blame the defense. Now that Harry Maguire is out, you guys are seeing the importance for yourself. Because he might not be, and not just Harry Maguire, not even just Virgil. It's not about the player themselves. It's all about the presence. Do you really think a player like who's the guy that like Wood from Burnley would ever go challenge Virgil or Harry Maguire for for a corner or goal kick? They would rather be on the smaller defenders. So it's easier to put pressure on the weaker defenders. The comparison isn't necessarily about Man United, but it's more about the banter that we got given the moment Virgil went out and we started losing. So because it came from Man United, it's like, right, we'll give it back now. You know what I mean? It's kind of the give and take.
Mickey, I think Mickey, touching on Mickey saying, the thing is this, man, like, there's a reason why there's two defenders. Like, there's a reason why, there's a left-hand side and a right-hand side. You understand? So when in your situation is like, I really felt for Liverpool because in your situation is you lost both. Do you understand? You didn't have you lost both in a few games after each other. You lost them both. So for you guys, it's like your partnership was gone. So basically, look, bringing Henderson and Fabinho to the back, it wasn't such a bad idea. I mean, you guys ended third with like half your team injured. So I think I will take that. I will take that if I was Liverpool. Look, the thing is this. It was always going to happen, kind of. The thing is like football's changed so much now. We keep on playing games after games after games. It's important, and that's why City has proven it's important to build that partnerships. They've got. If you look at 10 years time football now, like you had your starting 11, and that starting 11 could play a lot of games because there wasn't a lot of games in between. So there was resting time, there was proper rehab, all those things. Like now, when I heard this COVID thing, I said Liverpool's going to struggle. You guys are going to struggle because you guys play with the same 11 for the whole season. Pep basically was the only guy who was rotating, and that's why he won the league. Bayern, they won the league, rotating. Inter won the league, they're rotating. Look at the teams who won their leagues. They actually had 5-6 guys just as good as the guys on the pitch, and that's why they won the league. So that is the formula. That's the formula. That's why United has been higher Liverpool, because United actually went to go buy 4 or 5 players, even though the player was like, but the players was there. You understand? That's why when we had players injured, we could still fill the gaps, but the player wasn't that good though. So now obviously teams going forward, and most teams are gonna use this thing now going forward, where they're gonna rotate now. They're gonna buy in players that they can help the squad. Because if you're gonna always talk, if you're gonna keep on going with the starting 11, it's not gonna end well for you now.
No, I agree, but I mean,
wait. Can I say something? Well, I have to disagree with Oli there, but
I was gonna also
I just have to disagree with you, my friend. Oli, our coach, he did not rotate, and you saw what happened when we don't rotate. He has the players on the bench, didn't rotate. What happened? So
I was waiting for Tandy to come out with that. 'cause he's talking
no,
about the whole
that's why
season.
I was like, I was moaning about that whole season. You need to rotate because if someone gets injured, then without Bruno, we are.
Yeah, because Tande
Yeah, but
also
And that's because you're not rotating. You're not giving players a chance.
so
Yeah,
my thing is again that so just on Mickey's, I agree with you. I actually thought Oli didn't mention them. The one thing with Liverpool for me this season that was a bit disappointing as well was Mane. I think he if forget about defense now. I'm talking about going forward. Mane was and yes, Firmino stepped up the latter part of the season, but I think Mane plays a crucial role in Liverpool's attack, and I think that was a bit. I was even disappointed because I know fantasy Mane would always be in that squad, like no matter what. I was always. Then on the rotation, Tanya, I agree with you, but then again, also United, I don't think, and that's what I'm saying. So second place, if you had to tell me in the beginning of the season, you're going to get second place and Europa final. Obviously, I would have been said no. I would have gone to Champions League because we had a good chance. But I do think that we didn't have the players to rotate, if that makes sense, in my opinion. Because yes, and there you could, but
You don't, yeah.
in all honesty, who's your backups? So you play Fred every weekend, for example. You play Scott.
Faster.
Who's your backups for them in terms of that type of so I think Ole, the last game was nice to see United. I mean, it was nice to see United and Wolves, and yes, it was a Wolves that I mean their coach was leaving, and I'm sure they wanted to win, but it was nice to see, and I think we all enjoyed seeing those youngsters in terms of playing. But remember also, it's also this you can play a youngster, you can play him every game. It's going to go one or two ways. Either he's going to develop and be the star he wants to be, or you're going to put too much pressure on him and it can break him down. So I think we in the presence, like Mickey says, Bruno, we know sometimes has bad games. Like, honestly, he has bad games, but just that presence alone of him being on that field.
For sure.
Same with Pogba as well. That presence with them just being on the field, automatically the team feels that okay, we can go and we can win this game or we can get the points from it. So
Faber,
I think
so,
go for it.
No, I want to go for it. I'll say now what I want to say.
So just to touch on the Mane part, now look here, Fabian. I think it was an underwhelming season, but I think it all stemmed from when Jota got signed and he started like a house on fire. Jota started putting that pressure on Mane, and Mane started questioning whether he has anything to bring to the team, because Mo's always going to start. I mean, firstly, the fact that he made nobody's favorite team of the year is a crime, because I'm not Mo's biggest fan. I'll be honest, but he gets goals. He puts the ball in the back of the net, right?
Yeah.
Mane is Liverpool's playmaker. Because we don't have a number 10. We don't play with Bruno. We don't have a free role player. Liverpool win the second ball, which is why Gini is such a good player to have. So the pressure of Jota coming in, trying to change the system by occasionally dropping Firmino into a 10, putting Jota up front or switching the front three. It's also that chemistry needed to be built. So you have one Mane starting with Jota, and the next week Mane's on the bench because Jota is starting. And yes, like you said, having that squad players and bringing players in, but nobody's Man City is going to spend 50 million for a defender to sit on the bench.
Yeah,
true.
You know what I mean? Bringing for that competition. I mean, as United fans, you guys know Louis van Gaal said he doesn't believe in competition and sold Rooney.
Yeah.
Why? Because he doesn't believe in it. You know what I mean?
And you guys see the starting lineup at least?
Yeah, the gears in the box.
Why Fred though?
Yeah,
Jesse.
that's going to be a problem, I think.
Sorry, I saw that starting lineup there. Sorry?
What is your input on Liverpool season? Then we'll move on.
Look, I normally I would not even give any good comments on this, but you have to give it to Liverpool. I mean, after the banter of being 6th, 7th the entire season, for them to end 3rd, that's great. And 5 points, below us. But at the end of the day, as you mentioned earlier, Dale, this is the United in transition, right? Did we ever think that we were title contenders? this season. I don't think that we were ever title
We
contenders.
thought we were for that
We
moment.
wish yeah.
I'll be honest. When I saw United on top, I was like,
You know, is this
Yeah.
actually
I
happening?
keep warning him.
But I mean,
You know.
look at the games. Look at the.
But when
look at
last
the-
did you guys have the chance to dream? That's the thing about it. You guys got the chance to dream again and
yeah.
this.
Yeah.
If you
know what I'm
if you
Listen
look
to
at
that guy. Listen to
if
that
you
guy.
look at
Okay.
if you look at the games we lost, I would say we actually threw the season away. Like we could have actually won the
No.
league.
No, sir. No.
No.
The
Just leave
games
it
we
be.
lost, I'm fine with that. Because if I look at that, games that we lost compared to the games that City lost, we both lost six games. Where we threw it away was the games that we drew.
Yeah.
That's where we threw that
Yeah.
away. Because then that's why people are always saying, like, I don't feel we're too far off on winning a title anytime soon. And I can put stats on the table to say that both teams lost 6 games. But we drew 7 games
Yeah,
more.
I'm talking about the points we threw away. Sorry.
We had COVID now side as
Yeah.
well.
But let's go on, Jesse. While you're
COVID was
also at it,
offering.
how do you feel about Chelsea's season?
Yo. Thomas Tuchel. What a man. What a man.
Man. Mm.
Look, I think obviously in the Premier League, not as expected, but ever since, you know, they sacked Lampard, what a transition for them. I mean, what a difference. What Oli has been doing now for the last 2 seasons, this guy did in
One.
how many games?
Thank you. One
In
season.
how many games?
Even the whole season. Thank you.
So look at
And what's the difference? Please tell them, Jess, what's the difference?
Look, I'm sorry, I'm not. I said after tonight's game, I'm only in because we must gonna win the Europa
Doesn't
League and the
matter,
guy's
doesn't
gonna
matter,
get
but
his
still,
first
just
trophy and
say it,
whatnot. Yeah,
Yeah.
but like,
Just say it.
look, for me, I'm sorry. There's experience. If you want to talk about the difference, I mean, where does Tuchel come from? Where does Oli come from?
He went to
But
school.
you know, I'm supporting Chelsea in the UEFA Champions League final, not only because you know City and the Arab money or whatever the case may be, but because of where Chelsea
Now,
come
Chelsea
from.
have real money.
I'm Pip all the way for the final. Shame, I just want Pip to do it.
Look, if we look at that, and the reason why I brought up Liverpool and Chelsea first in the roundup is that Chelsea brought in a whole lot of players this season. They brought in some quality players.
Solid
And the
players.
fact that we ended 4th, and I'm hearing experience, and I'm hearing this and that.
No.
No, but what
So-
did Lampard do with him though?
Lampard messed up.
What did
mess up.
Lampard do
So-
with that quality?
He messed up
So,
the
guys-
dressing room. There was problems. That's why.
But I
We
mean,
messed up the changing room.
Yeah, remember those players who were very upset with Lampard. He was favoring certain players, and that's why actually some players you don't even see them playing. They're sitting on the bench now.
How did he handle that? Because there were few players that also wasn't happy with Ole and look where we are now. Or not look where we are now as we have made have any achievements. But I mean, like, doesn't that where managing comes into play, where the experience that he doesn't have? But I mean, the reason why we have a coach like Ole is because he's that boy that when even in these days of playing, you know, sitting alongside coach and stuff like that, learning these things. But now with Lampard, bringing in some good players, and even when he brought in those good players, we're still above them. You know what I'm saying?
But I mean,
so there was a time where they were playing well, but still Ole was still above them.
yeah,
Look,
but I mean,
can I say
you
one
have to
thing?
look at it. You have to look at it from a point of bringing in players. He brought in like 6 world class players. He bring in 6 world class players because you take a look. Fulham brought in 6 world class players and got relegated. Players need time to jump. It's also about the style that suits them, adapting to the Premier League. There's a lot like ZH. There's a lot of hype. I still don't see it. That's just a personal thing.
Yeah.
Yes, and
See
look,
it. He needs to jump. You know, so that's just from the player's point. When it came to, I think Lampard plays FIFA. I think that's what he did. He tried to build a dream team. He tried to build a dream team and just thought it's going to work. He just thought it would work out. Didn't realize the work where you have to manage the player or you have to go talk to Werner and say, listen here, I'm going to bench you for 2 weeks. You know, that's something that only Fergie could do, where you could talk to, let's take Park as an example and say, listen here, You're not going to play, but I'm saving you for that Liverpool game. I'm saving you for the Champions League final. So Lampard is learned from Mourinho, and we all know Mourinho's style. If Mourinho doesn't like you, he's not going to talk to you. And I think that's
Banish
what
you.
happened with Lampard. Yeah, I mean, you leave out Jorginho, who's a solid holding mid for a more attacking game. So he bought attacking players but couldn't find balance. And I think that's what left the squad unhappy, because they felt that they could pick a better lineup than Lampard himself.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I don't know.
So what's your
Yeah,
take on
good.
Tottenham? Let me ask that question. What's the take on Tottenham?
No, we don't. We're not talking about teams that ended outside the top four.
Nah.
We have
No waste of people.
Spurs rushed it, man.
No, fiber.
Spurs,
Don't deny fiber.
While we're in the Premier League and we're discussing Premier League, we'll discuss the final afterwards. Man United season, my man.
Yo, what a roller coaster. Yo.
Mm.
As I told Jess last week, it's a relationship with Ole that there's some nights you don't sleep. Some nights you don't sleep next to the wife and you're just facing the wall, you don't want to speak, nothing.
For me,
So much
like,
stay, man.
I don't know, man. I just feel like if you look at United, like I said it on the last show as well, the thing is just, man, like we care too much about individual brilliance, and whether it's an individual goal or there's just too much individuality in the team, And that's why I think if we actually had a system, like for example, like you ask me sign 3-4 players, I'm gonna give you the players, but I'm thinking myself, but what system are we gonna play with these guys?
Yeah.
Like they all just sounds like they were individually good at the things they were at. You understand?
Yeah.
But like there was a time when we were playing attacking or just a counter-attacking football, and there was a time we were playing counter-attacking football and passing football. Which like in today's football you can't put those two things together. Because like there was a time when
Ole, come on, guy. United had one style of football all the time.
Just the whole time, So I don't know. All it needs to, because we can keep the ball. We actually have a team full of ball-playing players.
Yes.
Understand? And so why don't we adapt to playing similar to a Barcelona, similar we have the players. Hear me out.
Ole, go back to school, bro.
We have the players to do that, but we will maybe win better because of the individuality in that moment that we created.
Yeah.
Ball around and stuff like that. Because I mean that for me, I saw it from the back, from our keepers start passing the ball from the back. Our defenders, we've got very good passes in the game. So why don't we try to adapt that where we play with at least 6-7 players on the attacking side of the line if we are a ball playing team and have 2 or 3 at the back, you understand? But we're all over the place. So I think now going to the next season, we have to see, okay, I can see now after 60 minutes, okay, cool. I can see what we are doing today. You understand?
Yeah.
But we are sitting in the dark as fans. We don't know what this coach is doing really.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for individual brilliance, we would have been easily like 8 or 9.
Totally.
But so to answer your question, Dell, as I said, United. So I agree to a certain extent. Yes, we can say now Ole and take it as we've mentioned. He doesn't have the experience, obviously, that you have. All these coaches have the experience of managing. Yes, he was at Cardiff and obviously got relegated. But I think, to fairness to Ole, in terms of because if you were to tell me that okay, Ole is going to come in. Like he came in last season, he came back with a bang, obviously, after COVID, when the season reopened. But I do also think that he himself is still trying to build his own team in terms of what he wants to play. I do feel that the staff, and I'm sure Carrick, as I said last week, and Mike Phelan, I mean, he's been with Fergie since that time already, Mike. So I'm sure Ole knows that we can't go in with this squad if we want to go challenge for next season. And I mean, he's even said it a few times in his post-match. He knows that he needs to have add-ons this season. So same like Liverpool. If you were to tell me in the beginning of the season, United take second, I would have taken second and said, okay, fine, I'll take second this season. You know what I mean? So I would say, should we win tonight? I would say decent season for Ole. And then the expectation, the real challenge, I think, is going to be next season. Because remember, like someone said as well a couple of weeks ago, and Mickey pointed out, some of the teams could have possibly dropped a bit in performance in terms of the top teams, in terms of the other top teams or the so-called top teams. Okay, Arsenal dropped really back. Okay.
Arsenal, small club.
But yeah, like I said, that for me. So like I said, to answer the question, I'm happy with the second, and if we should win tonight.
But I mean,
from the outside in, how would you feel about United season as a Liverpool supporter?
Well, I want to just add, let's first start off with what we were discussing about. I mean, the answer's in the stats, isn't it? United went the entire season unbeaten at away. Why? Because they always play like a team who's playing away from home. They play counter-attacking footy. There's 7 players inside their own half. The centre back or one of them will get the ball and knock it to Rashford. Rashford run, hold up the ball for a couple of seconds until 3 or 4 players can make it into the box. Now, if you're a top-tier team, if you're earning 300K a week, I expect you to be playing top-class footy every single day. Ollie touched on that point where he wants to see a brand, a style. As a Liverpool fan or just as a footballer, I know when I watch that game, I always have a saying where I say, the goal stinks. I can smell the goal coming. If you watch Man City playing, you know after enough waves of pressure, the goal is going to come. For United, you don't know if Bruno's going to get a pen. You don't know if he's going to smack one from 30 yards. You don't know if Rashford's going to bury one, beat like 3 players. You know what I mean? So United need to have an identity. That's the first thing.
Yeah, for sure.
I grew up hating a very simple strategy where Roy Keane would tackle, knock it wide either to Beckham or Giggs. They would cross, and Cole and York is their goal. That was United. They did nothing else besides tackle, go wide, cross, goal. That was their plan. So now it's Bruno drop. If Bruno drops like maybe a bit too deep, there's nothing going forward. Playing Rashford on the wing and Greenwood on another wing, which is perfect, but only if you have Cavani. Only if there is a target man. Then you have pace. So United had time. Be honest, though, he actually surprised us. I'm not going to lie. As just a football fan, United nobody expected them to be as consistent as they was. Not that they were, but United got, and that's the start. A championship team, a team that wins leagues, can be 1-0 down until the 88th minute and back to, United found a way to get that goal. And this is the start of it. So I think it's more of the pressure because you guys are united. Instead of, hey, let us develop a brand, let us start from scratch and let us move forward. But what Ole does have, and I just want to add this piece, and it's no disrespect to Ole, I must point it out, but he's riding on the defense or the structure that Mourinho built. Mourinho built that solid defensive unit. And now he's added the counter attacks when instead I feel he needs to maybe add 1 touch passing, maybe 2 touch. You take a look at City, Bernardo Silva, I don't even know what position he plays anymore, because it's about knocking and finding that space. But because United play with 2 holding midfielders and it's such a rigid, compact defense that nobody wants to move forward and add an extra body. So until they do that, they should find an identity. But this season as a whole, I am disappointed to finish below them, knowing that
never be disappointed, my friend. You've been finishing below us for years. Just one season, one great season.
Just to add on that, like we spoke in last week's show, I was asking about what identity we had. I do think that if you are a top class, the biggest football club in the world, that the counter-attack has now become very, very predictable. We cannot be playing this type of football any longer. Look, there has been an improvement. I still think that we could have ended the season better. Maybe Liverpool wouldn't have ended third had we had beat them. We'll take the thanks. It's fine. But I also feel that just talking about what Craig said earlier on about player rotation, I don't think that Ollie gives informed players their chance. He doesn't rotate. There's no risk taking. It's the same formation. It's the same players all the time. For example, the Lindelof Maguire situation. I mean, Lindelof has not been in form for quite some time. Baye could have filled that void. Zebi has proved himself countless of times. You were talking about the competition in terms. I mean, Teles was the best thing that happened to Shaw. But I think the big thing for us was players who were normally benched. They didn't get an opportunity when they were in form. We're looking for a winger. We have two wingers. We have Ahmad. We have Palestri, who's out on loan now, but we're looking for another winger. What are we going to do with all these players? I mean, we bought now a fourth goalkeeper in Tom Heaton. What are we doing with a fourth goalkeeper? Yes. I mean, seriously, yes. Maybe we want to sell De Gea, but I think that, in terms of depth, yes, there is depth in certain areas. But the players that are getting it, I don't want to bring up the Europa yet. But, I see Rashford starting this game, even though Rashford has not been in form.
Thank you.
Rashford has not the entire season, but he will start this game because it's a final. And, Pogba will probably play on the wing. We're not even going to talk about Fred and the TDM partnership. Oh, yes, with McTominay. Yeah.
Look, the one thing I really hope. Can I just say this? I really
I'll bring you on this. I actually want to bring you on this. What I'm about to say is that we are facing, and we're still going through that identity crisis. And if you could look at post-Ferguson's era, 2013, he made the decision to bring in David Moyes. I don't know what type of football that was. And I can't, I'm laying in my bed since last week when Keegan actually asked, what is United's identity? And that's actually a very good question. Because when I watched United play, what I fell in love with United is what we do without the ball that I fell in love with. What do we do without the ball? And I can remember games where if we didn't have the ball, I'm not going to be like, go tackle, because I know there's a tackle going to come through.
Yeah, you know Roy Keane and Scholes are going to hurt you.
Just like Jesse said. From what Mickey said, just from that tackle, it's going to be a goal. Yes, it's not all about the tackling and stuff. It's how we react without the ball. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
When David Moyes came in, we lost all of that. Biggest signing, Marwan Fellaini. Still has a bad taste on the mouth. But
what a player.
No, but Alex actually left us with a junk squad, though. We didn't have a good squad when he left.
Thank you, Jess.
He left us with an experienced squad.
Yeah.
So, no. Okay. If you take a look at what Moyes has done with West Ham.
Yes, amazing.
You can't tell me that he's a bad coach. So, you must understand.
Maybe he needed time, as everyone else did.
That is the thing. Fergie brought him in for that purpose. Fergie would only choose somebody that he trusts. The problem was the board would not give Moyes enough time to rebuild his squad. Right? So, because the board expected an aging team that won the league to just go ahead and do it again. Nobody's Fergie, guys. Do you know what I mean? So, it was a tough break. So, yes, there was an aging team. You can see Moyes now doing it. He even did it in Spain where he couldn't even speak the language. He's also performed. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, I get where you're coming from. Hey?
In Spain. Where was he in Spain?
He was at Valencia.
Valencia.
He was there like for a few weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gary Neville did the bus up and then they had to leave. Yeah. So what I mean is...
go on.
So, the thing about Moyes signing Fellaini as a top-class player, you must remember players want to play for a coach. They don't want to play for the club. I want to develop myself as a player. I don't know who David Moyes is. As an example, I can go back. Liverpool weren't anything until Rafa Benitez came. And then Spanish players wanted to come play for him.
Yeah, but you still were nothing that time. You didn't
You
win
know,
the league.
but I mean, even when Brendan Rodgers was in charge at Liverpool, there was no big players that wanted to come because nobody knew who Brendan Rodgers was.
Yes, sir.
Only Paul
Yes, sir.
Konchesky.
Solid.
You know what I mean?
Brendan Rodgers,
No,
man,
The man speaks the truth. The man speaks the truth.
So I mean, players want to play for a manager that's going to develop them, and unfortunately, Moyes didn't get the time. Ole's been given the time, but who wants to come and play for him? Let's be honest. So yes, they want to sign Harry Kane. Now you
Kane
spend
won't come.
150. Yeah, but
City right there.
he wants to play with the best, but he's more than likely going to go to City because he knows that Kevin De Bruyne will give him the ball every single chance he gets.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's
It's
mentioned
about
that.
playing.
What I think is that with I don't think just to end of that point also, and maybe Tandy can just comment on that. And thank you very much for that, Mickey. Very valid points. Is that with that identity that we have or that we don't have at this moment in time is because it's been messed up though. You know, with the type of managers that we had. You know, I don't know what formation we're playing with David Moyes. We then went on to Louis van Gaal. And I don't know what type of formation it was, but what I do know is it was crap football. Now
more
crap
defensive. It was more defensive for the Gaal.
You know, going forward and coming backwards, but also winning on big games. You know, I don't know if that was one of the best seasons where we actually beat Liverpool home and away. Solid. And then we had
Juan Mata bicycle.
and then we had Mourinho coming in also. And then Mourinho, that was a panic buy. I'm seeing that Pep was going to go to City. And then we had this whole defensive type of football, you know. Then we lost the whole thing. So for now to just bring it back with Ole, trying to find out, because remember, with the club, and you can use some Alexis Sanchez as an example. You know, you have this idea of playing football. You have all these things that your previous coaches has taught you, and your brain can only take so much. Now I come with this, but I want to do this. That, but I want to do this. This person. At the end of the day, a 2 liter can't take a 2 liter unless you pour everything out and you start from scratch again. That's what Ole is doing with United. You know, he's not going to get it right all the time. Last season was a perfect example. He didn't get it right on 4 occasions, 4 semi-finals. But look, now this season we're going beyond that hurdle of what we faced last season.
It is an improvement.
This season we're going to go beyond. And Mourinho said his biggest achievement was to end second, and we laughed second with United. But there's truth behind what he said. And here, Ole is doing it makkelijk. So, give the man time. You know, let's see what's going to happen.
Can I just add one quick major thing I think as Man United needs to understand is that players know that I'm going to get paid when I go there.
For sure.
Don't even Big is earning 250k sitting on the bench. I'd much rather go somewhere and sit on the bench knowing I'm getting paid. What Pogba's earning 400k a week, isn't it? Something like.
Yeah.
They're earning ridiculous money. But they're earning ridiculous money. Rashford is earning 300k. So what I'm saying is that your willingness to win. What I'm saying is your willingness to win isn't there. You know, lower the wages and say, if you want more money, go win me that trophy and the bonus money is yours. Now we have something to play for.
Yeah, but remember why they done that in the first place. United was struggling to get players. So somewhere,
they had to.
But the books need to be balanced.
Champions League, nothing here.
So
let's move on, guys. Craig, talk to me. What can we all learn from these guys?
Number one, rotation. Look, I read the guy's book, so I learned from it. And as you can see behind me, that is 3 years of hard work and 16 trophies. Like I always brag about it, but it's because I learned from that particular man. You know, getting the best out of 17, 18 players instead of just your first 11. You understand?
Indeed.
Like I heard when people say like, "Oh, we didn't have the squad. We didn't have." Fuck that. I'm sorry. Don't give me that shit. I'm sorry. We really have 5, 6 quality players besides our 11. You can't tell me they are quality. You can't tell me that. Understand? So we just bought players. Just buy. You know, buy smarter. Buy smarter. Buy smarter. Buy team. Buy players that you know will work in a team. A Declan Rice as a team player, you know.
Yeah.
A Sancho, a team player who cares more about assists than goals. You know, you need to look at players like that. We can't just buy. He's got a big name, take him, whatever. Cavani has a big name, but he's always been a team player. You can say what you want.
Yes.
All his game.
True.
He's always been a team player. Do you understand? If we look at our current team we have now, we have about 7, 8 team players, but the rest are all individuals. You understand?
Yeah.
So for this team to work, yeah, we don't want to adapt Pep style or whatever. But we have different players to what they have. And maybe our players can play even better in their system. We don't know that. You understand? Like I saw United have some beautiful touches. We can move the ball. We can really move the ball around. You understand? We love players running into space, move into space. There's a lot of things we can learn from City. You understand? And if you look at City now, they don't, and I'm always gonna say it, they don't have the best individuals. They just have the best team. They all complement each other on the field. I see before he passes the ball, he doesn't look at the player like, okay, I don't like you. It's everyone. I don't care. You got a blue shirt on. We're connecting the dots all the time, and that's why it's important. Bayern Munich has done the same. Inter Milan had a style of play, but their team system has worked. So United itself, only as a man himself, you can see he knows how to get the boys together. He knows how to get the boys going. But once your subs start seeing it, your manager is favoring other players, the player itself is not losing confidence. He starts losing a lot of confidence.
Yes.
So when he comes on every second, third, fourth match, he comes on now every second month. What do we expect? Do we expect the Brat to shine? He won't. I made a mistake, a coach, and I'm telling you, 3 years it took me, and I saw 20 players that was good enough as each other. You understand? So Oli has now his third year. He's going to his third year now. He has no excuse after the season. No excuse.
No, thank you. No excuses.
Nice. Thank you very much for that. Mickey?
Yeah.
Go. Yeah. You want to give your thoughts on City?
I think the biggest thing about City is they have fun. You play football like you were when you were 11 in the park.
Yes.
You know, I'm going to try the David Beckham 90-yard pass, and I'm going to knock it on his feet, and they're going to play. You know, I'm going to beat three players. Oh, I've got my back towards goal. I'm going to lay it off so that Sterling can run on and smack it instead of trying to turn and finish. So it's having fun, but wanting to play for one another. There's a reason why there's 11 guys. You know, there's a reason why there's 11. You know, I think Pep's system, and also if you watch, I think he changed his system by Cancelo dropping into holding mid instead of bombing up the wing, therefore giving more freedom to his midfielders to stay up. You know, he's learned that the brain doesn't want to defend, Gundogan doesn't want to defend, Foden doesn't want to defend. So how do I plug this gap? You know what? Instead, let's have Cancelo drop in, and then let's make it the back three. You know, so it's just the willingness to sacrifice your own game for the better of the team. You know, I'm not a defender, but today I will defend because this is what my team needs. You know, and I think that's the message that he's gotten over to his team. You either die for one another, or you don't, or you don't play for me. I think that's his game plan.
Quality coach.
And the thing is, remember, guys, player of the season. Okay, we're gonna go there now, Del. Is that the next?
No, you can go. I'm just posting it along so we can move away from those topics. Because because I'm not going to speak a lot about the previous, and also gone here with this player of the season. So guys, remember from Villas also, everything always looks easy on the outside. And it's easy to say that Dale don't know how to drive his car because look there, I'm standing here, and look there, he doesn't even know how to go over that speed bump. It's always easy to speak from the outside, and you've made a valid point, Dale. And I've said it before, and I do believe that next season, as well as Oli said, that will be the big test for Ole to see in terms of, and I'm sure they're going to give him funds in terms to see, okay, you buy your players as well. Player of the season, Dale, is that referring to just United? No, in general, in the league, in the Premier League.
Yo, it's
It's between two players. It's between two players. There's not
Player
a two
of the
players.
season.
It's between two players. As simple as that.
Okay, Fabs, you go first.
yeah, it's really I would it's
Tough one, huh?
it's really tough because there's a lot of you look at the smaller teams, man, and not in terms of smaller like your West Hams, your even your Leicester City in terms of yes, they didn't qualify now. But I think and then your Leeds United, there's a lot of players that I think that deserves a nomination in terms of the player of the season. So if I were to go, and I would love.
Before you answer
What?
that question, let's rather make it base your answer on the most consistent player. Then I think
Okay.
that will give you a better answer.
Okay.
Most consistent, Justice. To be honest with you, obviously, I would, and I know it is a wild card, and I know he won't be nominated, but Rice is definitely, I would say, consistency in terms of what he's done at West Ham. So I would definitely give him or nominate him as one of the most consistent. And then I would throw Luke Shaw in there as well.
Yeah,
Thank you.
no, for
Yep,
sure. I would.
definitely.
No, sure, really. This season.
Who's your player of the season?
I would really throw in Shaw. Shaw was brilliant. Like honestly, Shaw really did improve. As much as you don't like this guy, I also would throw Harry Kane. He's been consistent.
Well, it's given. It's given.
Kane's been consistent, guys.
Yeah, so
Except for the assist, Kane's been always like the number one player.
Is
Yeah.
I think Dando, like actually now that you mentioned Kane, I would say three players, you know. But I don't think you guys will differ from our answer. But I think the most consistent player, based on his form, based on his capabilities, based on his presence, based on the dynamics of the game itself and what he's done coming into the league for the first time, a player that was only linked to United. Still today, I don't know why we haven't signed him. And I think if we did sign him, we would have won the league today. Understand? And that is Ruben Diaz. Ruben Diaz at the age of 23, playing at his prime. I'm sorry.
You have the fridge.
If you look at the defender today, right? If you look at
He has better stats than Ruben Diaz, brother, season.
Who's better than Ruben Diaz?
Maguire.
Sorry, wait, stop. Did someone say Harry Maguire? Sorry, I just got a phone call and I just heard that name. I was like, what?
Harry Maguire, if you look at the stats, we're talking about stats, we're looking of consistency.
No, Harry.
We're looking at consistency. Was there one game Ruben Diaz was bad?
No, clean sheet, Harry has more.
Ruben's been better than Harry, bruh.
Clean sheet, Harry has more.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, Ruben has been better than Harry.
You can't
He has been, but he doesn't defend.
Yeah, you can't compare the two of them.
Who doesn't defend?
United play more open game. United less the ball, so which means the defense is always going to be under pressure. But if you look at the goals they scored against United, most goals, I think 80% of goals that we conceded was pathetic. We would sit and be like, they just score a goal now. Like how? You know?
Oli, I'm just concerned, man. How can you say Harry?
I didn't
I know he's our player. I know he's our player, but I mean, come on. He's our player. Guys, I understand he's our player, but come on, Harry. Wow.
More clean sheets, bruh.
Sure, this one.
More tackles. You beat him on everything is on the
Harry,
list.
Dale.
So you saying
Maguire. Player of the season. Player of the season. Guys, I love my team. But come on, guys, man.
Let's be fair. Harry Maguire on previous things. The man has the stats, but the stats don't lie.
So, but the stats don't tell the truth.
I'm concerned.
look at Salah.
Harry. Rather mention Bruno than Harry.
Dale.
Okay, wait. Yo.
I think, wait, Jens, are you and lady? So Tandy is talking. So I think Tandy heard the conversation like halfway because he didn't hear the first part. And I think he just heard you mention
I just
Harry
heard
Maguire.
Harry. Yo, that's why I got shocked.
He put Harry Maguire for player of the season.
Yo,
So
that's
Tandy,
like,
Not
whoa.
playing the season,
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
No,
That's why I said I'm
no, not
concerned.
playing
I'm
the season.
concerned.
No, not playing
Yo,
the season.
that
No
is the
worries.
season. I was
I'm
like,
talking about
wow.
Diaz. We
Harry.
don't need Diaz. We have Harry there.
Oh, okay. No. We together.
Yeah.
Thank you, Fabian. Thank you, Fabian. Because I was like, wow, Harry for player of the season. I'm worried.
No. No, thanks for that, Fab, because I was gonna end the show immediately.
Now, before you move on, before you move on, if you look at City now, let's say they didn't sign the Ruben Diaz. I think they struggle. I think they
Yes,
struggle.
I agree with you.
With
That man has made a
Laporte
difference.
being injured for so long,
Mm.
with only Ake and Stones being there, and I think
Don't
he
step
got,
up the season.
yeah, because of Ruben.
Yeah,
Because of Ruben.
Solidly.
Same like Gomez because of Ruben. Same like Matic because of Virgil. So it took another centre back. That's why I say if United signed Ruben Diaz, sure, Harry Maguire's stats will even be.
My brother,
You know?
what's our biggest problem at United?
Guys, we're leaving it play the season. Play the season.
Wait, just me
We're
answer,
leaving it play the
Oliho. What's
season.
our biggest problem at United? What's the biggest problem?
Our defense.
Fred.
No.
Sure.
No, I'm talking about in terms of recruitment. Our
Not Fred.
recruitment
Fred
sucks.
Mitch. Oh, but
No,
remember, Ed Woodward is gone now.
Yes, now we
So
only
we
pray
don't
to
send
God the
lawyers
right
to buy
person
our
comes
players
through.
anymore. We send actually scouts now.
Yeah.
Mickey, player of the season, my man.
Under the radar very much. He's a player I watch daily, and it's unfortunate they didn't qualify for Champions League. But Wilfred Ndidi, I think, is one of the most underrated players I've seen. He's the foundation of the Leicester team. I think he's somebody that United should sign personally.
Mm.
Wilfred Ndidi,
Come on.
I really think he's solid.
Well said there.
Solid.
But
We played the whole
But
season.
personally,
What
my
about
player of
Green? Played the whole season. De Bruyne played the whole
In the
season. Now,
first
we have
games
to talk about
occasionally-
consistent
Let him
play.
land, Craig. Let him land.
Look,
And,
as much as I'm a Kevin De Bruyne fan, I could have said then Kevin De Bruyne if you're talking about half a season. No, I like that guy.
Mickey,
Come on.
go on,
But
my
I'm
man.
not
Go
talking-
ahead,
Excuse
go
the
ahead,
interruption.
Nicky.
Indeed, he was a stalwart for that team to play as freely as they did. You know, he had Madison around him, he had Tielemans around him. He had to break it, and I think his work was underrated. But player of the season, Ilkay Gundogan. He's at his best season as a player. He carried City when they couldn't perform. He was banging in goals. He carried the team when they struggled. He played a captain's role for City this season, and I think we overlooked it because he's not a De Bruyne or, he's not
Right.
one of the top names. But I think Gundogan is the only person that can really compete with Bruno for this season because Bruno had a lot. His name is everywhere. But if you're looking at all-around play, I'll give Gundogan my player of the year.
No,
For sure.
I can accept
Yeah,
that.
for sure.
I can accept that name.
I want to give two. I want to give a breakout. Well, not really a breakout. The player of the season, and then the obvious, which was the first one, was Luke Shaw, from a guy that came from many injuries, weight problems, to
Mourinho
literally United looking for a new wing back.
club.
For him actually getting his place back, this guy, and he earned his place back in England, which is major for Luke Shaw. But the other player, which I think breakout player, is Phil Foden. What a young man!
Wow.
What a young man!
Wow.
He is Phil
And what's the
Foden.
difference? Jesse, what's the difference here for getting such good quality out of that player?
How do you mean? What did Ole get out of Greenwood?
I
Fabian,
don't want to say it. I do not want to say it.
Fabian,
Then I'm gonna get hating. I'm
Fabian,
look here.
stop.
Lutando, me and you're the same. I give a lot of
Thank you.
credit to
What's the
Oli. That
difference?
people think I'm a Liverpool supporter. They think I'm a
Yeah.
Liverpool supporter sometimes. It's okay. But like I said last week, Pep brings out the qualities in the squad. Oli, we've had this quality for long already. Yes, we brought in players and whatever, but we have quality. What are we doing? Look at Foden.
Keep
What?
saying
Yeah.
I'm protecting the youngsters. You protecting the youngsters. Bruh, come on, look at Foden. That like
Okay,
he's amazing.
Ahmad has not got enough game time and then they ship Palestri off on loan. What are you doing? What are you doing?
Phil Foden also, when he broke out, he also got put on the bench, and I know that
Yes,
because he was in the
I-
fantasy team.
I agree with you, Dale. They did put him on bench a couple of times, but they gave him game time. They always gave him game time. That's the
Greenwood
difference.
getting game time.
Greenwood then.
So,
I'm not talking about Greenwood.
but it comes,
Not just
where's the
Greenwood.
time?
Who are you talking
Where's
about
the
then?
time to
Who are you talking
We've
about?
got youngsters on the bench that need to play, bro. They
Vicky,
need game
That
time.
is correct.
What did you
10
say?
minutes, not 5
Yeah.
minutes. Give him a
Right.
20 minutes game. Let him play.
Mickey,
Oh,
what did you
now
say?
I'm trying to say it's about where does the time come. So Foden only has game time because Silva left and created that gap for him to fill in. You know,
There
I
we
take a
go.
look
Yes.
I take a look at my own team. Genie Vine Oudham left, which is going to be a big miss, but it's to give Curtis Jones the chance to break through and perform week in, week out.
I wasn't
know,
reading,
so-
so could be going on loan.
No, whoa. Now that's a talk. So the thing is, Greenwood can have the chance, but
Just saying.
who are they gonna? Where is that space for him to play?
Yeah, there is space.
You know,
guys.
Ole doesn't play
There is
attacking
space.
footy; he plays counter attack. So Greenwood's gonna come off the bench when somebody's tired.
Yeah, but
That Liverpool,
yo,
but
but
then
then
he
again,
changed
he's
the
got
style.
said it.
form.
That Liverpool fan just said it well there, guys. What type of football United plays? I've been saying this for long.
Counter attack
Okay,
all
I've
listen,
day.
been
let's-
crying about this long.
Yeah.
And I said, it's
And
not
look,
going to
who's
work
our
next
player?
season. It's not going to
Who's our
work
flop
next
of the
season.
season?
Sure. I don't know.
Yo.
I actually didn't. I
That's
actually
tough.
didn't. It's a
That is
difficult one,
tough.
eh?
Fred is definitely a nominee there.
It has to be an Arsenal. It has to be an Arsenal team.
Oh,
There's a klomp here.
what the hell?
I
Oh,
think
good one.
it's a
I was
tough
a
one.
bit
That's a
disappointed.
bit.
All of Chelsea's new signings.
Oh, yes. Let's not forget Chelsea. Well done there. I forgot about
Yo,
Chelsea. I did
Werner.
forget about
All
Chelsea.
of Chelsea's new signings.
Yeah,
I
no,
agree with you.
Chelsea. Some of
agree.
Werner
Chelsea
or
new
Kai,
signings. No.
Havertz or
Timo
Werner is one of the two of them.
Arsenal. That's my two.
Timo,
Timo
shame.
Werner,
And I like
Hmm.
Timo, bro. And I like Timo, shame. Timo he was
Who's Timo? Is
quality.
that the same as Timo?
No,
Timo.
Timo.
Timo, yeah, from Steph.
Timo, doesn't matter. Yeah.
I
I just
think
feel shame. He actually is a quality striker, so it's unfortunate season for him.
I think on our side,
I think
You know,
Yeah.
filling Drogba's boots is difficult, man. You know what I mean?
I'm not even gonna say Werner. I'm unfortunately going to say Donny. Because he didn't.
No, shut
What
up.
from how? From what
No.
3-game analogy?
No,
3-game
no,
analogy.
Oli,
Yo,
we'll give you
no.
a record now for saying that.
No.
I'm gonna give you a
No.
record for that. That's just
Only
wrong.
I see the studio has a timeout session. Don't let me apply it, my man. 5 minutes.
You know what? I feel for that player. I really do feel for that player. Donny it's really shit what's happening to him.
Alright, guys, we're gonna spend a solid 10 minutes on this, and it's the build-up to tonight's game.
Yeah, but I
See the
can't.
lineups out.
Long ago, my friend. We were watching
I saw the
TV while we
lineup.
talk.
I saw the lineup.
Okay,
I'm surprised.
yeah. In the post.
Fred's on the bench. Fred's on the bench. I think the other surprise is the year he's starting. That is also a surprise.
Put your TV off in the background, man.
Sorry?
Put your TV off in the background.
Hold on.
Now you got visitors. I can see how his eyes are going.
You can watch yourself later.
Among got visitors.
The United supporters guys stick out of my house with all the guys here. They're ready for the game.
So the starting lineup is there. Shaw, Lindelof, Bailey, Wan-Bissaka, Pogba,
Underwhelming. I don't know.
McTominay, Rashford, Greenwood, Fernandes, and Cavani.
Is
The fact
Maguire on the
that
bench?
Pogba must play a CDM at all is disappointing for a fan.
What do you mean?
Pogba.
Nah.
Pogba's gonna play up, though. What are you
Unless-
talking about?
Unless he's switching it up.
Unless they play box to box, both of them. Unless McTominay and Pogba play box to box.
Yeah.
So
Mickey,
okay.
what do you think of this lineup?
Pogba's gonna play up. That's for sure.
What's up?
What do you think
Look,
of the
they-
lineup,
they-
Mickey?
Sorry, Del.
they're counting.
Okay,
They're
so-
counting on the counter-attack.
I'm happy Pogba starting. I think that shows that he wants to attack. Because Pogba doesn't really do that much defensive work. So the only way I'm seeing this midfield is McTominay is going to sit. He's not going to move. Pogba will be your runner, your box to box, and Fernandes will get to float. United should win. Should be the operative word, but finals is a different game. Finals is a game of two halves. It will always be. You can come out on fire, and I just wanna look at lineup good. My thing is, Unai Emery has never lost a knockout tie in the Europa League, not once. He's lost group games. He's never lost a knockout tie, and this is his trophy. He's won it 5 times. He's won it three years in a row. So it's going to be tough. But for once, I think United would be considered as underdogs if you look at stats. But they should bury Villarreal. But they should bury them. I feel that if United don't win this game, you threw your season out the window. I'm sorry. United should walk over. You should walk over Villarreal. The thing is, it plays right into Man United's hands. Villarreal keep the ball. They're a Spanish team. They're technically great. They keep the ball. United counter. This is always game.
Yeah.
If the counter attack doesn't work now, then that should be the end.
For sure.
That's just my 7 cents.
Score predictions for tonight. Luthi, will start with you.
2-1
2.
to United. Of course. Why do you still ask?
Vibes?
So far I haven't been good with score predictions. Yes, this.
Stick to what you know, my brother.
But I think Russia is gonna score tonight. Just to throw it out there at Tandy.
Did you bet on that, my friend? Did you put money on that one?
After 5 attempts,
United to score first, Rashford. You must know the odds are like that.
Like Nicky said, it's definitely gonna be a tough game in terms of course. Unai knows finals, he knows how to, he knows English competition as well. He's played against United. So I'm gonna go with United for a win as well. I'm possibly gonna go with a my heart wants to say 3-1, but my mind, my heart's telling me one thing. But no, that's wrong. I'm gonna go with United. That's fine with me.
What did you say, Faith?
I'm just going to say United win by 2 goals.
Okay, Craig.
Okay.
Interesting.
Actually, I was gonna go with the 2-1, and then I saw the starting lineup, and I'm gonna go. I think we're gonna smash. We're gonna go 3. We're gonna go 3. 3-1, or we're gonna go what they do to draw in the extra time.
Because he was betting, that's why. Jesse.
Well, we seem to be conceding of late. I want to go with a safe 2-1. But you know what? We as you all said, we should smash. I'm gonna go 3-1. 3-1.
As a neutral guy tonight?
Yeah. My heart is hoping United get murdered. I'm not lying.
Block that guy.
I have to be real about it. But look here, as a footballer, first and foremost,
his goals.
I think Villarreal is going to give more of a challenge. I think it might be a 3-2. I think there's going to be goals. I think because United play when their back's against the wall, I think Villarreal will control the game and United will score when they need to. So I'm going for 3-2 after extra time. That's what I'm calling. 3-2 to United.
My score is going to be very respectful, and this is going to be in honor of Liverpool's Europa final in 2016 when you lost 3-0. We will be winning 3-0 today.
We lost 3-1 by the way.
3-1, pardon me, 3-1. But yeah, I'm looking very forward to the show, guys. Thank you to each and everybody for being here tonight. I hope everybody in the comment section and the viewers enjoyed this podcast as much as we did. But any last comments before we go, guys? Luthi, will start with you.
It's too early to sing this song, but Champione, Champione. We cannot lose. I
have a
cannot
question.
accept the lose. No ways, no ways.
Lucy,
Can I ask one question, guys?
Yeah,
Yes,
you may.
sir. On.
May I? So,
Yes, you can.
just to my United fans out there, of course, you guys were so excited to send Liverpool to the Europa League, but a paar days later, you're excited to win it.
Right, trophy.
That's all I'm
It's a
saying.
trophy. It's a trophy. And you deserve to be at the
I
bottom.
know,
You
but
had
Yeah.
a rubbish
no.
season.
But what I'm saying then
One
is,
season
You
what,
had a
wonders.
what I'm
rubbish
saying
season.
is, you should have that same enthusiasm. That's all
You're
I'm
actually
saying.
the
Have the
worst.
same
You win a league to end up where you are. Sis.
third. After United won it in 2013, didn't they end seventh?
It's alright.
Oh,
It's alright,
sorry.
When you win it, you won it. You were like 30 years, you broke it out. Now you come here. Sis.
It is what it is.
Mm.
Nah, I'm just had to throw that spice there, but I don't know. I'm just saying.
yeah, Mr. Williams,
It is.
it's one. It's once again been a liquor show, lady and gents. Mickey, always good talking
Thanks for
footy
having
with you
me,
as
Obi.
well.
for having
But
me,
yeah,
guys.
I'm excited. Obviously, the next couple of minutes, and obviously also don't forget about the Euros coming up.
Yeah, man. Netherlands.
Guys,
Yes, bro.
put your
Oh,
things
sir.
away, man. The Germans will teach you football.
No, sir,
The
it's coming
Germans
home.
will always
It's coming
teach you
home.
football.
England,
And
baby. It's coming home.
Whoever favors England, you're wasting your time. They're failures all the time. Just promising youngsters. It's the same
Right.
story every
That's
time.
right. Here we go.
I'm the only one German.
I feel
Deutschland.
South
Yeah,
Africans.
I know.
If it wasn't for South Africans, it wouldn't exist. If you support Bafana, you got to support the Dutch. If it wasn't for Jan van Riebeeck, South Africa would have still been.
Hey,
I'm just saying.
look, leave Bafana alone.
I'm just saying that's a heritage move.
I still support
heritage.
Bafana.
But it's a heritage. Where does Afrikaans come from? All these things. It's a bloodline.
You are the one that took over our land. We should kick you out.
That's why we got to support him.
That's why we broke that statue there in Rhodes.
Greg, have you modeled my guy?
Look at this man. My man, you go to jail. Yeah, look, guys, from my side, look, I know the Europa Cup has been a funny cup. Like it's a funny thing. It's a really funny cup. But I think every year it just gets like more competitive. Like you get like hectic teams in there, So I think like honestly, if we lose tonight, I'll be really pissed off. Like yeah, as fun as the cup is, I'll really I'm gonna ban the United tomorrow. Like I don't care what they say. I will ban the United tomorrow if we lose tonight.
Burn your sweaters. Burn it.
We can't be, getting so far.
I told you, give that guy a red card.
We're playing against a team that we can win. We're supposed to win on paper, and the ability. But I mean, so like for me,
Greg, I'm going to mute you, man.
Mute that guy. Mute that guy. He's coming here with negativity. Mute that
Bro,
guy. We're not looking for negativity tonight.
I'm bolding to the bottom.
Oh, you bold slow, my brother. You bold slow.
I see what I have to say, and now I'm gonna say this. The thing is this. I don't like speaking before the game. I don't like speaking before the game. But the thing is this, like, we smashing this game, and we already 2-0 up in the first half. We are smashing this game. I'm sorry, the buzz is going. There's fans. We're hungry. We winning this game, guys. I've got the fans in the other room. We're buzzing when it is. There's no work tomorrow.
Can I just add something? I just realized now. For Fabian and Dell, we actually living dangerously, guys. We're busy talking about United. John's probably recording this now.
I don't really think of that guy. But Jesse, talk to me.
Look, I think this final is good for the club as a whole. It's been a tough. We lost to win it 2017. It's been a tough couple of years.
Drought.
But I honestly, look, also to everyone, I know that I crit my team a lot, especially Ollie. I hope after this game that I will be Ollie in. I will
You're not
look
alone.
here. I crit Ollie a lot. Sometimes it might sound like I'm a Liverpool supporter, but glory, glory, Man United. We're smashing the shit. Oh yeah.
Nice.
Well done.
Thank you very much. Mickey, did I ask you?
You already said
have
this,
a lot of
bro.
Either
about
way,
that?
either
You
way,
already
said
I'm
it.
just grateful. It's just good to meet, to be part of the team. Firstly, so thank you guys for having me. It was blessed. Good to share your ideals, and it's good to see that from a Liverpool fan that there's some United fans that are footballers before the United fans that actually love the game first. Because you get a lot of guys that are just blinded by like Man United. You know what I mean? So it's good to have these kind of convos. But I really hope for the sake of United's progression that they take the trophy tonight. And just on your thing, there's nothing bad about Ole. Sometimes a manager can only take a team so far and they need someone else to take them further. And if that's the plan, Ole wins and in next season you guys just in the top 4, it's fine. Somebody needs to come in. Don't ever forget that Pochettino is still looking for a job because PSG don't grant him anymore.
Okay.
How do you
You know what?
insert in a one team? You know what I
This
mean?
is gonna open a whole another can of worms. Let us not.
Look, let's say that for the next season's
No.
chat. But I'm with that guy there
Yeah.
when he said that magical name. No.
Mickey, before you
Guys,
go, also,
thank you very much. Thank you very much for being with us. We went well over time, but we still have 15 minutes to prepare to warm up for the Europa final. I appreciate everybody that's in the comments that has been viewing this since day one, although it was a month ago. But I'm pretty sure everybody has enjoyed. A lot of people ask me, what would I do if United won't win? I guess we will never know.
Preach,
I guess
sir.
we will
Preach.
never know.
Preach.
Yes.
This is what yeah, thanks a lot, guys. Enjoy the game. United 3-1 up. And yeah, we'll be back again beginning of the season. And I'm pretty sure we'll have a lot to discuss. A lot of new coaches coming in. Arsenal probably a new coach as well as a new club and a new manager. But yeah, we'll take it from there. Peace out, guys. And thank you very much.
yes.
Sure, bro.
Cool, guys.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one.